Welcome. My name is Elise Buckle. I'm the Deputy Mayor of Nyon in Switzerland, the Director of Climate and Sustainability. I'm your host for today. And we have the pleasure of welcoming Eric Piolle, who is the Mayor of Grenoble, a city in France. And Eric has been a pioneer in terms of the ecological transition. So we're very happy to have you with us today. And you've been a mayor for 7 years in Grenoble. We would love to hear about your stories, what you're doing on the ground to pioneer this ecological transition. So my first question to you is, why do you think nature should be at the heart of the city? And can you give us a few examples on that?
Thank you for the invitation. First, it's really a pleasure to be here with you today. Nature actually is, for us, both a goal and a mean. Because obviously we need to change our relationship with nature, and so we need to think about how do we interact between ourselves, but as well as a community with nature, and looking at this as an ecosystem. So that's a goal by itself, and it's as well a mean because it's a mean to build communities around commons, and commons are key to move the society now and to move it with social justice and as well fighting against climate change and adapt ourselves about climate change because it's already there.
So do you think COVID-19 has changed this relationship between people and nature, and did it change people's lifestyles in Grenoble?
Obviously, it has changed the myth of nature.
People are
has
missing
changed.
nature.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so they can feel it. It was, as everyone else, we are just running from jobs to friends to kids to whatever. And then we were just cut from nature, and we think, oh, we miss nature. And so that has consciousness that has changed clearly, and it helped us as well to go one step further in the way we embark nature into the city, and where we can remove bitumen and plant trees and fruit trees, and having people engaging themselves on public space to make grow plants and whatever they want.
Community gardens
Community
as well,
gardens, but as well on public space. And so it has enabled us to move one step further, and as well to have nature not as what you think about nature in cities 20 years ago, which was very clean with grass that high. Now you can have real nature. And
less asphalt and more nature on the ground as well. Yes.
Yeah.
And so in terms of the planetary emergency, because here at COP26 we're all trying to address the climate emergency, what are you doing in Grenoble? We've heard this big announcement by Eric Garcetti, the mayor of Los Angeles, and there are 1,000 cities now committing to a net zero goal by 2050. Is it something you want to do in your city as well?
Yes, we're part of that, obviously. What is key for us is that the long-term goals are key, but what we need is now, act now. Move away from...
Action now.
Yeah, move away from talks and long-term goals. We need to have this, but we need to have fast decision and doing decision everywhere, meaning housing, transport, food, energy. And that's what we do, and we do that by as well working on education, health, and that's really culture that makes sense. Climate change brings fear or brings denial. What we want to bring is sense, because it makes sense to do things right and to change our connections with nature.
Bringing hope to people on the ground with real action.
Yes,
think global and act local. And can you give us an example of something you're really proud of? You know, something you've done in Grenoble that you think was a change maker and.
Yes, we could speak about two things, maybe. One small thing that seems very small, but which is key in terms of mindset, of imagination. We decided in 2014, so the first day when we arrived, to remove advertising from city space. And it has changed the way people look at public space. It was just an area where you were pushed by advertising and with cars. And sometimes you look at this now, it's common grounds, and you can have projects, conflicts, discussion, exchange, human exchange on this public space. So that's one thing. And the second thing is maybe to connect this midterm, long term, and to connect with all the people. And we have applied to be a green capital for Europe, and we have been successful.
Congratulations.
European Commission has chosen Grenoble to be a European Green Capital for 2022. And it's a way for us to have all the people, academic people, economic people, civil society, everyone being connected to one same goal. And that's for us key to start now and to reach as well very midterm and 2030 goals, so that we share one goals and we act together right now with the youth people, with all on the same goal, and that's key to keep everyone focused on one single goal that makes sense.
Excellent. We're looking forward to that, and I guess the next step would be to convince the EU Commission to fund cities to really accelerate this transition on the ground.
That's key, because all those transition projects around transport, housing, eating, food, all this is connected to cities. Even migration are connected to cities, because that's where people go to find protection. And so that's where you need money and means and political means so that we move this transition. So we need power as well to territories and cities and regions so that we can go fast enough in this change.
Thank you, Eric. Very inspiring. One last question. What is your message to the leaders that are here in Glasgow? We've heard that Boris Johnson was back. Most of the ministers are back to try to finalize the COP decision and the final package for COP26. What are your expectations, and what would be your top message to these ministers that are negotiating the deal now?
I think there is a lot of frustration around this COP, obviously. I would have two messages. First is we need actions for 2022. Not only goals for 2050, for 2030, but decision made for next year, now, act now. Not just planning and fighting against the planning. So that's key. And my second message is to keep those decisions into the COP, because we start to see a lot of decisions that are not part of the COP. It's just multilateral commitments, but it doesn't have the strength of the COP. So we need as well to reinforce this COP
UN.
as UN as humanity goals and humanity actions, and that's my two messages.
Thank you.
Thank you.